Nothing frustrates the hell out of me more about Forex traders than the fact that so many of people's expectations are placed out in la la land and nobody wants to look at the reality. And I'm not talking about just gurus, and I'm not talking about just people like you watching this video if you're not profitable trading Forex yet. I shared a trade in my free Telegram channel a couple days ago. It was an NZD USD sell. And this is just a free channel where I call all my trades live. I'll put a link in the description. If you want to join, you can just follow all my trades live for free. So this has been my past 6 months of results right here. $350,000 deposit, $273,000 in profit before swaps and commissions and everything called live. So I had put a trade in here on a New Zealand dollar, US dollar, and it was right here. So I put NZD USD as ready. So I went in here and I called the exact trade here in my Discord server, and I'll show you what it looked like the moment I called it. I'm short on NZD USD. I risked $30,000 on it. And then I'll show you what ended up happening, which is something that it frustrates a lot of people, but it frustrates me even more that people don't know how to handle when shit like this happens. So I sold here at the zone. I put a stop loss above. I put a target below. How do I trade? It's very, very basic and simple. All I do is I wait for price to get to clear support resistance zones. And if price gets to a support zone that's clear on the daily chart, I buy. And if it gets to a resistance zone when it's clear on the daily chart, I sell. Now, not every single time is a trade going to work out. I closed this early yesterday because price started making higher lows going up here into the zone. It looked like price had the chance of breaking above the zone, a little bit higher of a chance than it going back down into profit. So what did I do? I cut this trade right here before it hit the stop loss. I cut it like right in this little region here, and I cut it, and it was about a third of the way to the stop loss. So my original trade, the entry was like up here, the stop loss was above the zone, the target was below, and I cut it before it went and hit the stop loss. Because a lot of the times my only edge in trading is just the fact that I use 1-to-1 risk-reward ratios. I buy at support, sell at resistance on the daily chart. And if price starts going against me, I try to get out of that trade earlier before it hits the stop loss. Every now and then I have a trade that hits the stop loss, sure. But most of the time, 75, 80% of the time, I'm able to get out of the trade at like a small profit, a break even, a small loss, a third or half the way to the stop loss, things like that. So what it means is that even though I only win about half my trades and I lose half my trades, I make more on average when I win because most of those trades get held to the profit target of 1-to-1. But when I lose, I'm able to get out of the trade early. Using a 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio allows me to have like enough space and flexibility and room to manage the trade, as compared to just putting a stop loss closer and having stops hit all the time when price is just spiking deeper into the zone and then pulling back, and then it would have been stupid to get stopped out. So I don't use 1-to-2 or 1-to-3 risk-reward ratio. I don't put the stop loss tight at the zone. I give it room, I give it flexibility, and I manage things dynamically. So people get frustrated a lot whenever they close trades and they don't work out just to see them going back into profit. I'm over here saying, like, look, it's not that big of a deal, because if you get out of a trade early and you have the expectation that, okay, I'm getting out of the trade early and it's going to go against me, and it's going to be a losing trade and I just need to abandon the entire trading idea, guess what? You can just re-enter as soon as price starts doing what you thought it was going to do originally, provided you still have a good risk structure. So this is a trade I'm going to be taking right now. I'm going to call it out live here on this video I'm making. It's not the best entry just because price has already left the zone, but since the target still, even with the stop loss above the zone, since the target still is like around the previous low right here, I don't think this is that big of a deal. I think that we're probably going to go and make a new low if we come off this zone, and so targeting the previous low right here, we're not being heroes trying to like go for any crazy target or anything unreasonable. So normally I don't enter outside the zones, but I'm going to go ahead and take this trade just to show you this idea of the fact that if you get stopped out on a trade and your expectation is that you should just abandon the trading idea and you're upset, and then you see it going back towards like what profit would have been had you just stayed in the trade, guess what? You can just re-enter the trade. It's not that big of a deal. You can participate in the same trading idea because the price action and the context and the circumstances surrounding what the price is now currently doing allow you, and it dictates you to allow you to be able to go ahead and get back into that trade and participate in that idea by just simply re-entering. Now, if price had gone against us right here, further, right, we would have saved us a stop out. But now the fact that it's gone back into profit, okay, cool. At the time, it was perfectly reasonable to close because price was going sideways. It was not dropping. It was making higher lows. It looked like there was a good chance it was going to break out above this zone. A lot of the times, and I would even argue most of the time, when price starts doing some shit like this after you sell, it means price is going to break past the zone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this trade live right here. I'm going to show you exactly everything I do. and I'm going to call it out in my Telegram and in my Discord as I always do, and we will share it. Now, I don't. I do not share all the exact entries here in my Telegram channel. I just share, hey, I'm taking this trade, and then you have to do it all your own. If you want to follow my exact entries and stuff, I have a Discord server here where I share all my trades. You can find there's a link somewhere in the Telegram. I post maybe once or twice a week here in the Telegram for it. But this right here is where I share all my live trades. And again, every single trade is documented. Since I started this account like half a year ago, every single trade is documented. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and take this trade. I'm going to enter it here. I enter it on MetaTrader 5 on my phone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the NZD USD pair here on MetaTrader 5 on my phone. So once I'm on this pair, I'm going to enter a sell, and I'm doing it right now. I'm going to my chart. I'm clicking trade. I'm entering a sell, and you can actually see on my phone whenever I send the screenshot in there, you'll actually see that the price is actually still inside the zone that I'm trading off of. Okay, so I'm going to enter a sell right here. I'm going to put a stop above the zone, a target below the zone. It's going to be a $30,000 risk for a $30,000 profit. And I have just taken it, so now I'm going to screenshot it. I'm going to screenshot the chart as well as the trading terminal. And now I'm going to go post it in my Discord server. So I'm going to go here, and you can see it's going to pop up right here as I post it. So how I call trades in my Discord is I put a screenshot of the trade, I put a screenshot of the terminal right here, and look how simple it is. I put, I am short on NZD USD, and I'll put in parentheses, I'll put again, with a $30,000 risk. And guess what? For the people that follow these trades, it's not a long, drawn-out explanation, right? It's fucking simple. Everybody knows I trade off support resistance. You can see in the damn screenshot. It's at a resistance zone. Okay, sweet. And in this case, you can see price is actually still, in fact, inside the resistance zone, which is one of the reasons I'm still taking this. It wasn't marked up here on TradingView in the same way it is on my terminal on MetaTrader 5. The support resistance zone is a little bit thicker, honestly. It's probably something like that, right? So that's why I'm still perfectly fine taking this trade. So they can see I've entered right there. They can see where my stop loss is. They can see where my target is numerically. They can see the actual trade here. They can see the lot size. They can see the exact entry price. They can see the amount of margin that I'm using on this trade. They can see my balance and equity. They know I'm risking $30,000. The account's at almost $500,000, right? This is just under like a, what? It's like under a 10% risk, right? It's like a 7% risk or whatever it is. So they can see all the parameters in here, and now people can follow my trades whenever I post them in here. They get notifications. Then what I'll do is after this, I will go to Telegram, and then in Telegram, what I will do is I will get a screenshot like this all lined up. I'm going to get it like nice and formatted here so that way we can make it nice and simple. And then what I'll do is there's no need for this alert, so I'll just go ahead and take this alert off. Then I'll screenshot it here. I'll click the camera. I'll click copy link. And then I'll go to my Telegram channel right after I've called the trade, and I'll put, I am short on NZD USD. Just called the trade with all these specifics in MFX NT. The group that my Discord is called MFX Nix Trades. All I do is just a group where I share every single trade live. Every single thing. Everything. Going all the way back, you know, I think I've run this group since like 2024. So all the trades are called in here, and you can see everything. So we'll just go back to the present. But anyway, so that's how I call the trades in there. And again, a lot of people will get frustrated when shit like this happens. You enter a trade, it doesn't work out. You know, maybe you close the trade early, or maybe you even get stopped out, and then people just get upset. They don't want to. They don't want to do anything that allows them to re-enter the trade and be dynamic and fluid with it. People just get upset, they get annoyed, they get frustrated, they get irritated, and it's one of the things that really, it really just damages a trader's confidence, and it damages your profitability and rational decision making, because you're afraid to re-enter trades that look like they're going to work after you've already gotten stopped out. Some people say all this bullshit. They're like, oh, it's revenge trading. Here we go. Okay. So some people say like, oh, it's revenge trading, and you shouldn't be getting back into trades that have stopped out. You know, if they would have worked out, they would have worked out. I approach it way more dynamically. I approach it with like entering a trade using the 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio parameters as just frameworks for just being able to structure the risk on the trade. Anything past that is up to you and your subjective discretion. It's up to your price action discernment. You looking at the price action, seeing, is it going sideways after I enter? Okay, most good trades, if you're going to enter, they're going to go into profit. If they start going sideways, that's a reason to maybe look to just close the trade. If it starts going against you, it's okay to close the trade. If it starts making higher lows into a resistance zone, it's okay to close the trade. If it starts breaking the resistance zone, it's halfway to the stop, it's okay to close the trade. You should be very, very quick to want to get out of trades a little bit earlier if they go against you. And if they start going into profit, you should be very reluctant to close the trades. It's inverting this idea of what a lot of people have is a risk aversion, where when it starts going against you, you don't want to take the loss because you're scared. You're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to close it. And so you hold and you hold and you hold. You keep giving it more and more room, or you even start doing stupid bullshit like moving your stop loss further after you've already decided what the risk is, and now your risk increases to like double, and you didn't pre-plan that. That's stupid. And then whenever it goes into profit, you want to get out early because you're afraid, oh, what if it comes back? Maybe I'll just close here, a third of the way to the profit target. Great, congratulations. Now your losses are going to be 2 to 3 times the size of your average winner, even if you got a 50% win rate and you're not going to be profitable because you're doing the type of shit that most people do. Whenever you're trading, you're going to get frustrated at times, okay? You're going to get a little bit annoyed and irritated whenever you get into trades and they don't work. I myself right now, I'm on a losing streak at this exact moment. The past 2 weeks of trading, I mean, here it is. It's all right here. You know what? As a matter of fact, I'll go to Telegram because I post this live for free. We'll go here to the Telegram channel. You can see for yourself. These are all the trades up until the last few trades I've taken. So I need to repost this in Telegram. But I was on a 3-trade lose streak at that point after the biggest winning trade of my career, USDJPY. That one trade, I made $150,000 on it before fees and commissions. But now, currently, here's the full updated P&L. Right here, you can see I'm on a 1, 2, this is USDJPY's one trade. So I'm on a 3, well, I guess it's not that big of a deal. I'm on a 3-trade losing streak. So a 3-trade losing streak, GN, UJ, and NU. And I've given back, you know what, that was 30,000, so this will be 36,000. So I've given back $46,000. So from my win streak of USDJPY, basically, I had $150,000, given back a third of that over the course of 3 losing trades, right? 3 losing trades have only knocked out a third of the profit that I made on my last big winning trade. You know, it is what it is. I just see so many people getting irritated and frustrated, and it's one of the things that it just irritates me the most because it's something that's so simple to solve. Me and one of my clients were just talking this morning about it in Discord. We were talking about yesterday and this morning. And he was saying, how do I keep trading as I'm going through losing streaks? What I told him, as a matter of fact, let me just go ahead and show you. Okay, the thing is if I show you, it's going to show like his username and stuff. So anyway, I'll leave that alone. But what I will say is that what I told him is, I'm like, look, man, you have to keep trading. You just have to keep on understanding that by entering trades and continuing forward and almost being kind of like a psychopath and saying, look, I lost the last trade, I lost the last trade, I lost the last trade, 3, 4, 5 trade losing streak. You have to continue forward, and you have to continue ensuring that on average when you lose, those losses are smaller relative to what your average profit is when you win. If you do that, even if you have a 50% win rate, all right, if it's true that you win about half your trades and lose half your trades long term, if that's true, and if it's also true that you make on average a little more than you lose whenever you're wrong, that's the definition of fucking profitability. And yet some people get so upset when they lose a trade. They struggle to want to re-enter if it looks like it's going to do what they thought it would. They get so attached emotionally to losing, right? It challenges your ego. People want to be right so often. Trading is not about being right. Trading is about making a little bit more when you happen to be right versus what you lose on average relatively when you happen to be wrong. If you approach it like a business, you're winning trades of your revenue and you're losing trades of your expenses. Okay, if you run a business, I myself run a business. I run a coaching company, Mission FX. All right, we operate at about a 70% profit margin. That's after paying all my team, payroll, and everything. That is amazing, right? That's ridiculous. Like 70% of the revenue is profit, and then I'm at like the highest tax rate, so I'm like 50% of that's gone. So really, I keep about 30 to 35% of the top line revenue after tax for me personally. But whenever you look at it, imagine if I bitched and complained about the fact that 30% of the revenue gets chewed away because of payroll and because of software expenses and because of legal fees and because of accounting fees and because of payment processing fees and because of the software for hosting our websites and all the technology on the back end for Mission FX. Imagine if I got pissed off at that and I completely ignored the fact that, oh, we're still keeping 70% of the revenue. I only have to give away 30%. That 30% of the expenses is a cost of doing business that allows me to keep on taking shots at putting more content out, delivering more products and services, helping more of our clients, going and providing value to the world, right? Yeah, I get to keep 70% of it, but I have to accept that a percentage of that is going to be gone in fees and expenses that are a cost of doing business. If you approach trading the same way, and I would even argue if you approach life the same way, it allows you to not lose sight of what's important. It allows you to focus on, look, not everything's going to be butterflies and rainbows all the time. There's going to be expenses in trading. There's going to be expenses in your life. And if you run a fucking business or you have a career, you still have expenses. Even if you don't run a business, even if you're an employee, your biggest expense is tax. You have to pay tax. I don't care what your tax rate is, 10%, 20%, 50%. Everything has expenses, and everything that has upside also has its downsides. Everything that has pros also has cons. There's rarely a free lunch in life. There's rarely a free lunch in business, and there's rarely a free lunch in trading. And the sooner you understand that, the sooner it will stop bothering you and irritating you and annoying you that you have losses. And instead, you'll be able to shrug your shoulders and say, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to keep going. And you will be able to continue trading profitably because you're not becoming victim to all the things that plague most traders, which is getting upset and all bad and pissed off and losing enthusiasm because you have a couple losing trades in a row. That's my vote for you. Go and accept it and then continue trading normally. Make sure your losses are smaller than your wins on average. Long term, the stats work out. And I've proven this for 8 years that I've been running my free Telegram channel. And I personally have been trading for the past 10 years. Okay? I'm uniquely qualified to tell you what I know works because I've seen it work for myself, for thousands of clients, and hundreds of thousands of people that have followed my content for the past nearly 8 years. Okay? It works. Trust me. 50% win rate, making more in your winners versus what you lose in your losers, works perfectly fine. You getting irritated is a problem that you have with yourself. It's a problem with your ego, and you have to let that go and recognize that losses are going to happen, and you cannot lose your enthusiasm as you continue forward through trading. You should embrace losses because as long as you keep losses small, it ensures that whenever you do happen to win, you make more in your winners than you lose in your losers. Think about that. And if you need to, bookmark this video and come watch it again whenever you start feeling like shit when you're on a losing streak. It is what it is. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and pop off. If you hit the like button on this video, I really appreciate it. I got to post more stuff on Telegram and get back to client. So I'll see you guys later. Have a good one. Happy trading.